Hey everybody, it's been a while, but this is Rykard here again, back with another Pokemon online battle. This time it's another NU battle, and I'm using a few Pokemon that I've never really tried out before, which is the reason why I really wanted to show this match. I've never used an Octillery, I've also used a Linoone maybe once, and I've never used a Charizard, surprisingly. I didn't know Charizard was NU, but I guess this is a more recent thing that happened. I guess it just got voted down, but that's cool for me because I get to use this guy that I've never actually used before in a battle. But the other three guys, Dustox, you guys already know how I feel about Dustox. You know, uh, Zebstrika I love as well, and also the Lairon are, a few Pokemon that I've tried out before. I know how they work. But my opponent is using a pretty standard, in my opinion, team for NU. Braviary and Magmortar and Gurdurr and Bastiodon are all very common. Not so much Ampharos and Lapras, but I already know what they do. So the only really threatening thing on my team, or on his team, honestly, is the Gurdurr because those can always be a pain when they set up. But I think I'm actually in pretty good shape for this battle. So let's get started right away. He leads off with his Braviary, and I lead off with my Charizard. My Charizard is Focus Sashed, and it has Counter, which you will see right here does exactly what it was meant to do. The reason for this is because it has Counter. It learns Counter, so why the heck not use it with a Focus Sash as a lead? Um, I figure like Suicide Lead Charizard would actually be a really cool thing to try out one day. And this is me experimenting around with it. So he brings in the Lapras. I'm figuring an Ice Shard's coming, but he doesn't go for it, and for whatever reason, he just goes for a sub. Fire Blast, Blaze boosted at this point is doing a ton of damage. Did 60%. But now he reveals to me that he actually does have the Ice Shard, so I guess he just wanted a sub up. But as you'll see on the next turn, it doesn't really matter because I just bring in my Linoone to extreme speed it twice. He decides to, for whatever reason, after I break the sub, go for Dragon Dance, which I thought was very weird because Linoone obviously has extreme speed, like that's what it does. So I just take out the sub and then I'm free to extreme speed again. I figured he was going to switch to the Bastiodon at this point, but he doesn't. He just leaves the Lapras in to die. But here he actually does go into the Bastiodon. So obviously, he's going to want to set up rocks and I can't do anything to it. So I take the opportunity to go into my Lairon because I want to set up rocks on my own. I know Bastiodon will pack Earthquake because that's generally what they have, like maybe Earthquake, Rock Blast, and some other stuff. But I figure because it's a Bastiodon, its attack really isn't that great, and because my Lairon is a Violite, even though it's 4 times weak, it's not going to be doing that much. And you see, it only does 30%. But because I take 2 hits from this thing, I don't want to stay in, even though I would eventually win out in the end because I am faster, so like 2 more Earthquakes would kill the Bastiodon. But I just take this opportunity to go into Octillery. I think it's really funny how the Earthquake only does like not too much less damage to the Octillery than it did to the Lairon. It was 4 times super effective against. But I just go for Scald. This Octillery is kind of weird. It's a rest talking Octillery with Sludge Bomb for poison or Scald for burn. I figured it would be cool to kind of do like a dual status sleep talk type thing for Octillery. And Octillery has really good special attack to begin with, so I figured it would be a kind of cool set to try out. Maybe not the best, but it's something different. But as you can see, I take out the Bastiodon with 2 Scalds, so I'm sitting good. The Toxic, as you can see, doesn't matter, or as I said, because I have Rest, but he brings in the Magmortar. And because he went for sub with the Lapras, I was thinking that this wasn't going to be choiced, so I wanted to stay in to see if he would actually Thunderbolt and what would happen afterwards. If he didn't show Life Orb like he did right there, I would have just went right into Zebstrika on this turn because it has Lightning Rod. But he shows out that he is Life Orbed, he takes out my Octillery, and then I bring in my Lairon in just to die. I don't know why he went for Focus Blast, honestly, because that was really risky. He could have missed and then lost his Magmortar. He could have just probably went for Thunderbolt and it would have took him out. But anyways, I just bring in my Zebstrika here. I go for Thunderbolt, and that is not enough to take it out, unfortunately. And he kills me off with a Fire Blast. So at this point, though, he's only at 5% health, as you can see, and I just bring in my Linoone again to just extreme speed it. Does Magmortar have Flame Body? Because if that activated, that would have been really bad. I'm not sure if it's Flame Body or something else. Something Flame, maybe. I don't know. I forget. But here he brings in the Gurdurr, and at this point, I know I won the game, and I know that's kind of weird to say that, but there were two ways that I could have won this game. I chose the more difficult way, and I'll explain the other way at the end. But here he just goes in, or I switch on to Dustox. I know he's gonna bulk up because that's all Gurdurr does, and Dustox is amazing against Gurdurr. This Dustox is the one that I made a video on a while back. So this does have max physical defense and fighting type moves against a max physical defense Dox, which 4 times resist it. Isn't really gonna be doing that much. Um, and so he does, or I do Toxic him. I know it's going to activate Guts, but honestly, it doesn't really matter because I know I'm going to win out in the end. And I actually make a really stupid move, which you'll see. But here I should have just went for Bug Buzz, but I didn't because I thought he was just going to keep bulking up without any reason to like not want to bulk up. But I went for a second Quiver Dance, which is stupid because he paybacks, and that does 90% as you saw, but I'm sitting at 10% still, and I'm pretty sure I can still have a Mach Punch, so I wanted to kind of screw with him a little bit, and I went for Roost, because if he went for Mach Punch and I lived, I would have more health, but he didn't, and he went for Payback again, so I should have just went for Bug Buzz, but this is kind of where the second option of taking the harder route to win got a little dicey because now I have Linoone in, and if he had Mach Punch, it wouldn't matter because I still have Extreme Speed. But I do get a crit on this Extreme Speed, which I'm pretty sure mattered at this point. And with that, unfortunately, I'm able to take him out for him. But I just Extreme Speed twice. Funny series of events right here. I actually get the static to activate, and he thunderbolts me. Fortunately, it does not kill because Linoone actually doesn't have terrible defenses. But a second Extreme Speed will be enough. Thank God I don't get the paralysis because otherwise he would have won the game. But I thought it was pretty funny how close this was. I don't know if I said this before, I might have, but this Linoone is very different from a normal Linoone. It's not a belly drum Linoone, it's actually choice banded, and it has the move Switcheroo. So when I said before that I could have won this game in two ways, what I would have ended up doing was switching out to Dustox as soon as the Gurdurr came in, switch back into Linoone, and then just Switcheroo, because I don't think a Mach Punch would have killed me at +2. It might have, but even if it if it didn't, I would have switcherooed and he would have been locked into a fighting type move, to which I could just go out into Dustox and then Quiver Dance forever because it wouldn't be able to do a lot of damage to me. Ampharos is obviously a special attacker, so it wouldn't have been able to take me out, and I could have just Toxic Stalled that. So that was the other option of winning this game, but I chose the more difficult way, and I thought it turned out kind of funny. I'm actually going to check if that crit mattered. I think it did, but I'm going to check later. Maybe I'll leave it in the video description or something, but that was the match. So thank you, Hester, for the battle, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully I'll be able to get back into these soon. It's really hard for me to focus on multiple games. As you guys know, I do play Smash Melee a lot, and I've recently been trying to get into Marvel. So trying to balance all those games at the same time is kind of difficult, which is why Pokemon has been kind of not been my priority at the time. But anyways, it's good to do one of these again, and I hope to be doing more in the future once finals are over. But take care, guys, and goodbye.